It's 11 p.m. in Rome and 1 a.m. in Moscow. This is Press TV's World News. German intelligence estimates that al-Qaeda has carried out a total of 90 terror attacks in Syria over the last 8 months. The revelation comes in response to a parliamentary question. The German Foreign Intelligence Service has also confirmed that it had received numerous reports on the al-Qaeda hand in a recent massacre in Hula, in which over 100 people, many of them women and children, were killed execution style. The Western media and the opposition had blamed the government for the killings, but the German intelligence says it cannot publish the reports because they are classified. The news raises several questions about the terrorist nature of the militants who called themselves the Free Syrian Army, even more so about the fact that many of those armed terrorists killed in clashes with the security forces carried foreign passports. Saudi Arabia, Qatar and most Western countries have supported and funded the violence in Syria by providing logistics, arms and intelligence.
The unrest in Syria continues. Western media say foreign militants have joined armed gangs in the fight against the government. As fighting rages on, more reports emerge confirming that the unrest has become a magnet for foreign militant extremists. Western media outlets say large numbers of militant extremists have joined the armed groups fighting the Syrian government. They come from different Arab countries, including Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Egypt, Libya and Morocco, as well as faraway places like Chechnya and Ukraine. The New York Times reports that many of the extremists enter Syria through the border crossing held by the armed groups such as Bab el-Hawa on the Turkish border. It describes a scene where the so-called Free Syrian Army members are present with two flags of a militant terrorist organization hanging in the background.
This is a violation of United Nations resolutions that condemn terrorism. What is required here is that these Western nations, the very Western nations that have claimed to launch war on terror, and that was a whole hypocrisy. This war on terror was just to reach their own objectives and to protect their interests.
This exclusive Press TV video shows passports of foreign militants seized by the Syrian military forces during recent fighting. Earlier media reports revealed that the CIA is training anti-Syrian armed groups and is also providing them with communications and intelligence assistance. There are also reports that militants inside Damascus have been trained by former British commandos at bases in Iraq, Saudi Arabia and elsewhere. Observers believe the U.S. and its Western and Arab allies have entered into a strategic partnership with militant extremists in Syria with the aim of bringing down the government of President Bashar al-Assad.
Is it new, this hypocrisy of the United States? We have been used to it. What we need is to highlight this hypocrisy in order to inform the world public opinion about it, in order to have the world public opinion condemn it, in order to persuade the United States to relinquish this hypocrisy.
Well, fighting is ongoing in Syria between government forces and armed gangs in the northwestern city of Aleppo. Syria's armed forces have pushed out foreign-backed militants from several neighborhoods in the city. Damascus says the military has sent reinforcements to the outskirts of the city to maintain order and security. Elsewhere in northern Raqqa province, 3 people have died after armed gangs removed railway rods, causing 8 carriages to derail and crash. The capital, Damascus, is relatively calm after passing days of heavy fighting. However, there have been reports of sporadic fighting in areas within the suburbs of the city. Clashes erupted in several areas, including Qudsayya and Hamne. Witnesses also report attacks by armed gangs on police stations and army checkpoints around the city. Earlier, we spoke to our correspondent, Muhammad Ali, in Damascus. He told us of the developing situation on the ground in Syria.
There are several developments in the country. In Aleppo, we just new news came in, which is that security forces have continued to chase and inflict heavy losses on armed men who attack public and private properties and civilians, particularly in Salah ad-Din and al-Sikari neighborhoods in Aleppo there. And also, if I have time, in Damascus, there are also some chasing operations in Daraya neighborhood, and also some chasing operations in al-Hajar al-Aswad, after, of course, inflicting heavy losses yesterday on armed men in al-Qadam, which is close to al-Hajar al-Aswad and Asali.